Hey guys, so in this video we're going to talk about why I hate Babel with a passion. So let's get into it. Now, I need to make something very clear first and foremost. I have nothing but the utmost respect for the contributors of Babel. All that hard work they are putting in to that product is absolutely astonishing. They're geniuses in their own, modern day geniuses. And I hate them for it. I hate them so much for it. It's not their fault. I hate the people who use the genius that they provide us with. And let me tell you why. So today, my colleague came over to me while I was working. He asked me to help him out with setting up a health check in one of the node servers that we have running in one of the systems. He's not so experienced with JavaScript, so he needed a little bit of assistance, and I was all too glad to help out. We sit down and we go through the code. We have a look at some internal APIs that we have declared for doing intercommunication, basically our own little DSL to communicate with the different services. And so now that the endpoint call or the AJAX call is all up and running, and we know that the code is written in the manner it should be, my colleague says, well, we should probably test run this script here, or this endpoint, so that we know that it's working. And I go, yeah, that seems very reasonable. Although we are flawless coders in every way, the odds of the universe indicate that we may have gotten something wrong. So it's probably best to verify that it's actually working right. And so my colleague goes, okay, we can't really get to this endpoint without setting up the server, right? And I say, well, maybe we could. Maybe we can simply run a local script, because at the end of the day, all we just want to do is to just verify that this little script that we made is going to provide the appropriate results, right? It doesn't need us to just spin up a server and do all this other overhead work, right? And so I say, just pull up a small script file, copy paste the code in and just run it through Node. Easy peasy, right? Let's do it. And so he does, and it crashes. And I recognize that all too familiar error. I've seen it 100 times. I've seen so many developers have this issue. The error is unrecognized statement import. For the juniors out there, this might be odd. It was about that. Just hear me out. My colleague is a senior with 15 years of experience, and he just looks at me and says, "What's going on?" And I just smile. This conservative, reserved, hateful smile. And to you juniors out there, what has happened is that we have tried to run a script that uses ES6 imports. Now, you may not know this, but this is, as today, still not supported as a part of the JavaScript standard. You cannot use it as part of Node, unless you do some experimental stuff. But basically, it's not going to work in our version of Node, because the way that you do it properly is with requires. That's the standard. That's the LTS, the long-term supported feature. So I sigh and I start explaining to my colleague. So the reason why this works, even though it's not part of our standard, is because we use Webpack, and Webpack uses Babel in order to convert the import statement to, underneath the hood, a simple require. That's all it does. And he looks at me and says, "Why are we doing that?" You tell me why we're doing that. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Is it really that important? Is it really that important to use import instead of require? Some will argue that it is. Some will say that, oh, Frederick, but it's forward compatible. It's going to be the standard very soon, and it's going to be more performant because imports, I mean, you know that CommonJS isn't really a good solution. It's not performant. I know, guys. I know all of this. But here is my question to you. Why in the world do you consider it to be better to have an extra build step that chunks away time and effort and forces you to have a transpiler layer between your code and the stuff that you want to create now, today, all the time, every single time you want to build anything, instead of doing a string replace and migration type of thing when it's actually part of the standard? It's beyond me. It is absolutely beyond me. It's like, I can't understand it. I just don't. There is nothing in the ES6 standard that is so amazing that it justifies this. Nothing that I can conceive is that powerful. Because let's be honest here, it's gotten to the point where most of the ES6 standards is actually in the specifications in the standard, so we can actually use most of it, but we can't use imports. So why force it? Why force it? I don't know. I'm this close to stealth commit or stealth merge in a set of code that will rewrite all of our imports in our Node.js server to requires, so that we don't have to use Webpack or Babel in order to basically transpile our server into a functioning state. Because guys, I'm gonna be honest, I know this is highly opinionated, but dear God, can't you just wait for the standard? Please wait for the standard. If you're using React, I understand it. JSX is a nicer development experience. It helps with comprehension. It is absolutely a good thing. But don't use stage 0, stage 1. Don't use features that are not in the standard. It's not worth it. It's just so much extra maintenance and complexity. Whenever you want to do something simple, you can't, because you need to transpile the damn thing before you can use it. This is me being opinionated again. I'm telling you this. The reason why I love JavaScript is because it's a small syntax, it's very easy to get started, and you can move really quickly. And with Babel and all this bullshit that you're adding to your project, 2 of those things go away immediately, and the only thing you have left is that there's a small syntax. That's how I feel about it. I absolutely hate transpiling with a passion. Have a great day.